Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Gooey's Dungeon Dive, the mini podcast where I rank every dungeon in The Legend of Zelda. And we're on our second to last dungeon in the original Legend of Zelda with level 8, the Lion. And starting off, the Lion, it's cool in terms of the look. It's one of the better shapes, let's just say, I think. Because it does look like the magical key with the lion head. Pretty fun, and it makes for a pretty decent layout. So right off the back, that's all right. That's pretty good. I will say this might be the most, maybe the most cryptic entrance in the game. It's kind of cool, but there's just a random bush. It's kind of conspicuous, but there is just a kind of random bush you gotta burn to get into it. And there's no hint for it. That's the only kind of hard part. But at this point, if you've gotten, the red candle and stuff, hopefully you did. It's pretty good in terms of looking around for it. You would probably try to burn this and find it, I would think. And I'm kind of mixed about it. It's a little too cryptic, maybe, but I believe they put the hint for getting into it into the manual, which maybe, I don't know if that suggests that they thought it was too cryptic or not, but that's that. It's kind of a tough dungeon, but at this point, with all the upgrades and everything, it's not. Especially with the enemies, it's just kind of another greatest hits of enemies. There are some challenging rooms with a bunch of blue dark nuts and the fireballs being thrown at you, but I think this is one of the bigger step downs in terms of difficulty, other than fighting enemies in the last dungeon. A little underwhelming, I think, but what can you do? In terms of navigation, there's only one of those cryptic bomb locations. Again, I'm not totally fond of those. I think in later Zelda games, or in A Link to the Past maybe specifically, they get good at giving you good navigational hints on where to bomb. I get it's just kind of a feature of this time, but for me, it's just something that sticks with me that I don't like a lot. So that'll probably negatively affect this for sure. It's not big either. When I think even with the demon, the last dungeon, it was kind of bigger and more sprawling. This one, it's kind of smaller, and it, has a lot of keys, and so you're not really going to get tripped up there, especially if you end up getting one of the dungeon items, which is the magical key, which from that point on just opens any locked door. And I actually think that's a really good item to get at this point of the game, especially going into Death Mountain, because that's going to be a massive labyrinth with lots of locked doors, but yet still very difficult. And I don't know, this key is also pretty missable, so I would say that it's solid, because it can give you a little bit of a step up on the next dungeon, but also you're still gonna have a hard time with it. So it's a good middle ground sort of thing, and it just does feel good. I don't have to worry about keys anymore. So I'm a fan of that. This dungeon's also it's littered with mini bosses. You've got Manhandla, upgrade Goma a little bit, where it's now it's a blue Goma, so I think it takes more than one hit, and there's the fireballs being thrown at you. Actually kind of like that a lot. So while I wish that maybe there was one thing new here, I do like the return of these guys. Another one of the key items you can get is the Book of Magic, which will upgrade your magic wand, and now it'll also leave a bit of fire at the end of it, which is good because you can kind of use it to light up the rooms. I think, if it was just this on its own, it's kind of underwhelming. It's a little useful, but kind of underwhelming. But that in combination with the magic key, I think makes for a pretty solid set of items to pick up in this dungeon. This dungeon, we also get 2 old man hints. One of them being extremely cryptic, I think. One of the old men tells you 10th enemy has the bomb, which I think that's supposed to let you know something if you kill 10 enemies without taking damage or something. They drop a bomb or something like that. But I that's not me. That's not my kind of thing that I know. So don't quote me on that. But you can Google it and get some info there. I guess it's a little cryptic. Not my favorite quote. But the other old man quote is really good. The other old man tells you a hint for getting into the next dungeon. And he says, "Spectacle Rock is an entrance to death," which is really great, really exciting and evocative. So shout out to that old man. For a boss, we got, again, another repeat of a previous boss, which is another Gleeok. This is like the third Gleeok boss. I don't remember, but this time they give him 4 heads. But he's still not harder. I mean, I appreciate it more than the Aquamentus. That's exactly the same in the last dungeon, but still, I don't know, underwhelming. In general, I was kind of underwhelmed by these last 2 here before the final boss. I'm not going to lie. Which, perfectly brings us to our ranking here. And, I feel bad that I put the demon at the bottom, because I do actually like it, but just from some of a more design standpoint, I didn't like it. And you kind of heard me going through here, like there's a lot of underwhelming things about level 8, but I was surprised by some of the things I did really like. It's for where it is, maybe it's a little easy, but it's still harder than the demon, I guess. But then it's also cryptic in certain ways I don't like. But I don't know, I'm kind of mixed on it. But I will put it just above the demon. I'm sorry to all the demon fans out there. So the lion will slot in here at the number 7 spot for me. Still a good dungeon. I would say we haven't encountered a bad dungeon yet in Zelda. And I'm pretty positive on most Zelda dungeons, so that might not ever happen, but just so you know where I'm at, I'm still pretty positive of it. So, again, with the top 5 dungeons we have so far in Zelda, we've got number 5, we've got the dragon, followed by the Manji at 4, the eagle at 3, the lizard at the number 2 spot, and still, I think the best, tightest dungeon in the game is level 4, the snake. So that's going to do it for today. The next episode is going to be wrapping up the Legend of Zelda itself, and I'm trying to do something a little different, a little special for it, but I don't want to totally give it away yet, especially if it doesn't happen. I don't want to disappoint anyone, so but be on the lookout for that, because I think it's going to be really fun. It might be a little bit longer, might be a little bit more of a podcast form, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe. Let me know your ranking so far, especially as we go into this last game. And thanks for watching.